somewhere.
I'm heading home. I'm almost there.
Okay. Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Thank you for being on, Jason. We're going to be talking about you here in a minute.
Again.
Which is a great thing. So I'm going to go ahead and officially launch our call tonight, our elevation call. This is really about building the asset of Zalise. And this is really one customer, one ambassador at a time. And I've been 3.5 years now in the business. I was fortunate 2.5 years ago to join forces with Hal Henson, which changed my life, paradigm shift.
Changed mine more.
But that's a whole nother story for another day. We do really two things primarily. We help people take back their health by buying wholesale of life-changing products. And then in addition to that, we help people build wealth, not only through the tax advantages of owning their own business, but through the creation of a residual income stream that even in the pandemic was really for us, has really been a 6-figure income, been life-changing for us. And really our greatest desire is to help share this with the people that we love the most, the people that you guys put in front of us. So I'm going to have Hal talk a little bit about the leaderboard. And where are we, Hal Henson, in the month?
Yeah, well, here's where we are. First of the month, it's the white zone, 1st of May. First of any month is, first 10 days is considered the white zone. So we have the white, the blue, and the red, and they're broken down in 10-day segments. So here we are in the white zone of May. And a big part of the emphasis during the first 10 days of any month, for all of us, we emphasize recruiting, adding to our contact list, building names list, meeting more people, beginning to plant seeds, make phone calls, introduce people, showing them the overview, whether it be a full-blown overview, showing them part of it, sharing with them the products, beginning to introduce them to Zalise, whether it be the product side, the business opportunity side. That's a huge emphasis during the first 10 days of the month. And then throughout the month, we have a kind of a follow-up plan, and then a closing the month with helping people reach rank and numbers. So a big part of this always is the recruitment of new people, whether it be people who want to just buy products as wholesale customers, want to put their toe in the water with building a business, not too sure about that, but go ahead and kind of move forward with some people coming in at gold and running hard at it. But nonetheless, the leaderboard with Zalise, it's an international leaderboard for those who have enrolled people on a weekly basis. And we started all over May 1st for the month of May. And so on the leaderboard, the top 25 internationally, we have one person, Jason Smith, who has been a regular on the leaderboard ever since he joined. And he's just doing a great job down in Tyler, Texas. He and Julie, and they've got great support from their team. Jason called me just, I guess it was Friday, and asked me about kind of how to connect with the guy at lunch, how to, kind of which direction to take. And so we don't know how that went, but looks to me like some action was taken, because he's got some people enrolled in
He's
May.
climbing
So,
up.
yeah. So anyway, that's our leaderboard for the whole month of May. Of course, it's still early. What is this?
The second.
Was today the second? Oh, well, there you go, Jason.
You guys have a few more days.
I don't even know that there's 25 people overall on the board.
I think there's 13 people.
Okay, well, there you go. So anyway, hit it hard, guys.
So yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we talked about last week was just effective strategies to build your business. And one of the beautiful things about the fact that Hal and I have a little bit more mature business. We started this 3.5 years ago. And once you have a team of people, the strategy changes a bit. But the big question that most people have, whether you've been on board one day or 3 years like we have, is how do you gain a customer or let's say a new representative? How do you do that? What is the process? And we always tell everyone this is not an individual solo sport. This is a team sport. And one of the ways that we want to kind of share a little bit tonight is not just to spoon feed you. We're going to ask a question, and we want to get your feedback on this, but we're going to talk about what we can do and how you can leverage our success to actually launch your business as well. So one of the questions that I have for you guys, and we asked this last week and we had some really good participation, is I would love to have anyone who would volunteer how they were able to gain a customer or a rep this past week.
And try to keep your stories fairly brief, just so more people can share. but we'd love to hear from you.
Anybody who was able to gain a customer or a new representative this past week. Would love to hear from you.
Lisa and Hal, it's Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
Hey, Debbie, where are you calling from, girlfriend? Tell us which part of the
From
country.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Nolensville, Tennessee. Almost like Noblesville, Indiana. Right? Actually, the one fella that just joined as a wholesale customer kind of been dripping on my people at the car. We kind of meet together every year during the warmer months. And, you know, people know that I sell it and, you know, they'll ask questions and I'll kind of drip on them. And so just this past Tuesday, one of his wife said, "Do you still sell that hemp stuff?" So I said, "Yes, I do." And she said, "Well, my husband's knees are bone on bone and he can't find anything to help." And so this was actually 2 weeks ago, and I gave him a sample of the Ultracell and the topical that I have in my pocketbook always. And I said, "Well, I'll give it to you if you promise to use it, but you have to tell me how it works for you." And so within, I think it was 5 days, she called me 2 days before our normal Tuesday night meeting. And she said, well, the next day he was saying, "I think this stuff is working." So he said he slept even better. He said, "I don't know if it's just my head or what," but he said, "I just slept better. My knee doesn't hurt." So he said, "I'm going to take this stuff." So the next Tuesday we signed him up. Well, he took the paperwork home and I told him what he could do. And so he signed up that Friday.
Awesome. So
And,
Debbie, you said a couple things. First of all, you said they knew that you sold Zalise. So how did they know?
because other car people that have bought from me and they hear their stories and they just said, "Well, it's worked for me. You know, if you need some, Debbie sells this stuff and it works the best I've ever had." So it's just a matter of dripping on people and eventually they might come around or they'll try a cheaper brand. It doesn't work. And I'll even tell them, "Well, go ahead and try it, but I know you'll be back with me." And most of them do come back. So it's just, you know, I don't build it fast, but people eventually come around. And it's proven more than enough times with me that they do come back. So
That's
we'll
awesome.
So you use the phrase dripping on people. Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, people will ask questions and I'll tell them a little bit more about it. Or the next week I'll say, "Well, I slept really good this week. I took some Ultra Dream with my Ultracell," and they'll ask me questions. "Oh, okay." And they just keep hearing me talk about it. I talk with everybody about it. I just find little ways of getting in the conversation. And we just had well, Lisa knows that we just did a Zoom call with the ABC Club, which is the YMCA after breast cancer, and kind of went over the science of how this product works and why I chose it. And Lisa came on and helped me with that. And 5 people joined up under one of my ladies that I've been dripping on that I used to work with. And her husband loves the stuff. And so she dripped on other people that she worked with her. She does the exercise class for the YMCA after breast cancer. So she's joined 5 people already. And I met with them Friday night because they had a retirement party for the lady that kind of heads the ABC Club. And so I went to the party and I met some of the ladies that joined. And then I had the opportunity to talk to other ladies. So it's just a matter of talking to people, really.
That's
And
awesome.
eventually, hopefully they come around.
Another way I would put it too is watering the seeds that you've been planting.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's taken a year.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just a matter of people getting to know more about it. I've just given the science part of it. And if they, you know, I kind of said, "Well, do you want to make income? Do you want to make money at least to pay for your product?" And they'll say, "Do you know 2 people?" So we just kind of work with that. And it's coming around, just slow, but it's coming.
Awesome, Debbie. Thank you so much for sharing.
you.
Really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Congratulations to you for
Thank
your hard
you.
work. Anybody else want to share?
All right. moving on. You want to welcome new ambassador?
Jason,
Oh,
Jason's going to talk to
Jason,
us.
good.
Come on, number 2.
I don't mind sharing. This is like one of those shot in the darks, I guess. And I don't know hardly any of you guys. I know a few of the leaders that have been helping me out, but they're helping Julie and I. So I have a little experience in these businesses. So this guy's an acquaintance. I messaged him on Facebook Messenger, and I'll just read to you kind of what I wrote. I said, hey, Julie and I started a business with the health and wellness, focuses on the science of CBD. Many of our friends and family have benefited from sleep, inflammation, headaches, depression. These are people we actually know. Would love for you guys to check it out. It can help you physically, financially. If this didn't scare you off, then hey, let me know. He put a heart on it. I waited. I didn't respond for a day or so. Then I said, well, it's a network marketing company. If that puts a bad taste in your mouth, because I'm sorry, sometimes it does, but the product is legit. It's really helping people. I'd love to have you try it. And he responded pretty immediately. And he said, man, hook me up, please. I've used it before. I just haven't really trusted anymore. Trusted things over the counter lately. I had a bad experience. So that's when we had a phone call. And he joined us.
Wow.
That's awesome. So
fantastic word tracking, Jason.
The thing I hear, Jason, out of that is how honest you are and straightforward, but also not formal. Even a little bit, well, I don't know. How would you describe it? How would you describe how you just, what your feel is as you put that out there?
Yeah, I think I talked with Linda, and she really helped me out with, because I've been in a business before, within the past 5 years, and we had some success. And so with that, a lot of my friends, they know, oh, here you are again doing another one of those things, right? So I don't want to be that guy. And so I'm just like, hey, man, this product is really working for us. Yeah, it's network marketing. And if that's great for you, you want to make some money with this, then come on. If you want to just use the product, I've got a guy right now that I'm talking with, and he currently uses another product. So I'm going to get him switching. And so we'll see.
Jason, what I really like is not only is your transparency, but the fact that you're putting the objections up front.
Yeah.
And, and that we've all heard those objections, whether people are informed or not, their perception is their perception. So I think it's really brilliant. And, we've always really kind of tried to steer people away from Facebook Messenger and texting. Yeah. But honestly, that could, if it's effective, we've got a lot of power in that, right?
It's risky. I don't recommend it, honestly.
It's worked well for you though.
Yeah, but you also, so this isn't your only approach. You call people, you set up appointments with people straight up. You use your Rolodex, as Stephen Thompson would say, your Rolodex, your contact list from your phone. But
yeah, this is one of those guys that I wouldn't really have run into any other way.
Gotcha.
So I wanted to comment about that. In the last 2 weeks, I've got a couple of emails just that came to me. And one of them was from an attorney, just said, hey, I want you to know I'm with a different firm. I paid a little bit of attention to it. And the other one a couple of weeks ago was a lender who, does home loans, mortgage loans. And I used to be in the real estate business years ago, and those people would call on me all the time. And anytime they moved to a different bank, what did they do? They wanted me to know that they were somewhere else.
Right.
So, and yet when we call our friends where we've been in direct selling business before, network marketing before with a different company, we don't want to be that guy. And I get that. Okay. But the point is that in the traditional conventional world, people let people know all the time, hey, I'm open for business in regards to this. And we want you to know about that. If you want to participate with us or hear more, here it is.
Right.
And so
it's a really well done.
It's really a very honest and straightforward approach without giving them too much information. The problem for many people is they give that part of the information and then they go 20 minutes telling them everything about what it is,
right?
Which is just the opposite, because that's what people don't want to have happen is you unload on them right at the first.
The other thing, Jason did not immediately respond once
Right.
he showed interest, which he didn't jump on him, which showed a lot of discipline and restraint. I'm impressed,
Wisdom,
Jason.
wisdom.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing that with
Thanks,
us.
Jason.
That's very, very great. So one of the things that we really wanted to unpack tonight is what we can do. That's whoever brought you into the business, whoever's achieved the rank goal of that you're trying to achieve.
Will that be like Jeep?
Like Jeep, like
Jeep's
area.
a good one to talk about.
Right.
Okay, just throwing that in there.
So is to do a launch call on your behalf. And I have asked two of the very best in our business who are doing this. In fact, they did one tonight at 6:30, Linda and Jim Ferguson, to unpack how they help their team with launch calls.
So get your pen and paper out and
you
listen
guys, this is going to be gold. So Linda and Jim, rock on.
Oh yeah, buckle your seat belts too.
Well, we appreciate it. You are very kind to let us chat a little bit. I think Jim and I are just like everyone else on this. Am I muted?
No, you're
good.
You're good.
Okay. Jim and I are just like everyone else on this call. We're looking for the way in which to scale our business and to help other people scale their business and to move with less friction and to move faster so that we're more effective. We got some tree frogs out here that are really going to town if y'all hear them.
They sound like geese flying over there.
Okay, so I apologize. Can everybody hear me okay? Do y'all hear me all
Yeah,
right?
we
Okay, I want to make sure. But we're no different than everyone else. And we were on Project 500 call 2 or 3 weeks back, and we heard Danny Taylor talk about launch calls. And we've heard that term.
Heard it from Eva.
Yeah, we've heard
early
from
on.
Eva, talk about launch calls. And somewhere between now and back when we first started, we've never really done launch calls. We moved into Zoom, we moved into conference calls, things like that were more for large groups, but not necessarily for introduction of the business. So really all we did, guys, is that we went and we called Eva and we said, Eva, tell us about this launch call thing, girl. And she said, well, let me do one for you. And she took 10 minutes and she showed us and explained to us how to do it. And I took a bunch of notes as fast as she could talk. I was taking notes, and we've got a team of people that we're working with, and we're helping them bring people in front of the presentation. And we thought, well, okay, now we've got
A Navy jet.
a Navy jet going on. So,
But you can do this business from anywhere. That is what is so amazing. With the tree frogs or the jets, we got it.
but anyway, I didn't even consider that when we moved it out here. But that's really, how this all came about. We're just wanting to help people move faster. So what a launch call is, guys, and I don't know if you guys want to just ask me questions about what it is, how we do it, or what it is, but it really
What is it in just a sentence or two? What is it?
So a launch call is a 10 to 15 minute call that is an overview of the opportunity and the product. And it's not wanting to provide too much information, because you can find out in 10 to 15 minutes what you could find in a 45-minute Zoom to see if someone wants to move into getting more information. And really, I call it kind of a qualifying interview, kind of one-sided in the sense that we're sharing information, but you make the invitation to listen to the call, and you're really qualifying whether or not someone is qualified to get the full picture.
And because it is a phone call, they don't have to be on camera.
We'll move inside.
Wow.
Are you guys
Incoming. Okay. All right. So PTSD for some people on that.
Sorry,
So,
guys.
We can't hear anything.
okay, so let's do this. I am a
An
new
air raid.
We'll move inside.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the question as you're moving, see if you can follow me. So I'm a new ambassador. I've just enrolled, and I'm excited, and I've got some topical that I've shared with my neighbor. Okay, and so
Jenny.
are you following me?
Yeah, I'm gonna go into Jenny.
Yeah, she's going to go into Jenny, so we can't hear. We see your mouth moving, but we can't understand a thing you're saying.
Okay, all right.
technical difficulties?
So for all of those of you who are new on the call, is there anyone brand new here tonight? Just speak your name and where you're calling in from. This is your first elevation call. I know Benjamin's on. I don't think he's been on before. Ben's on.
Jerome is brand new.
Jerome. Okay, yeah, we talked to Jerome earlier. So Benjamin, Jerome. Anybody else brand new tonight?
We've got Kay Dartman.
Well, and I think Jerome is a good example. Jerome was on a launch call.
Okay.
His first introduction. Jerome, do you mind to unmute yourself? Maybe not. But Jerome was on a launch call, and that's his first introduction. And then he saw the full presentation as we did a full presentation, in front of him when we went to Eufaula. But he received the full overview prior to that, which was really good. So once again, I apologize, guys, that we had that interruption.
So Linda, let's take this. We need to roll this back just a minute.
Okay.
So you did the launch call for someone. So that being you're an upline who's got your Jeep and you're helping someone who hasn't earned their Jeep, maybe not even the city bonus yet. They really don't have a team, or maybe it's small. So let's say I'm that new ambassador, okay, who has gotten enrolled. I've got some product. I came in at silver or gold or bronze, whatever. Well, one of those three. I know I want to build my business. I'm not sure what to do, but I've shared some product and I've talked a little bit. So now I want to do a launch call with you. All right. So what do? Do I call you and say, hey, I've got someone we can do a launch call with? Is that how we do it, or what do we do?
Yeah. So what we're doing, what really has worked for us, and we're setting times for these 10 to 15 minute calls. And it's a phone number that they call into. And all we're doing is we're teaching people how to invite to the launch call. So like Eva and Hal and Lisa and Jim and I, and all of us say, become an expert at inviting. When you first come in, you don't have to become an expert at showing the opportunity, the full overview. Become an expert at inviting. So we teach people how to do an invite to a launch call. We don't call them launch calls, for other people. That's just kind of in-house how we do that. And then they show up at the phone call, and it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for us to do an overview. And on that call, we are giving them all the information that they need to know of how to go to the second step. So the purpose of the launch call is to give them basic bullet points. And as Eva calls it, she says it's the appetizer to the meal. So if you want the full meal, then when we get to the end of the call, then you're going to request the full enchilada, if you will, or the full meal. And that's kind of the terminology that she uses. And so at the end of the call, when someone says, yes, they are seriously interested, they do want more information, then what we're doing is we're sending them the full overview by Stephen Thompson. There's no one better to be able to give the full overview, right, than him. And then we set up a three-way text or call based upon that interaction following the call, and then lead them to a communication directly with that individual.
Wow. Awesome.
What's critical is that you have the two appointments set before the call. You have the call, and you have the appointment to get back with them on the follow-up before before the launch call even starts.
That's really critical.
You already have a time set.
That's really critical. It really is. We did enough launch calls the first week that we did this to realize that the black hole is the follow-up. And that's the black hole for a lot of us, is the follow-up. So what we're helping people do is to streamline and tighten things up so that they not only set the time that they're going to attend the call itself, but they actually set up the time to answer their questions afterward, making a recommendation within 24 hours of them hearing the introductory call. And that has helped a lot. That has helped a lot more by having that second meeting. That's called BAM FAM, guys. That's called book a meeting from a meeting. All you're doing is you're booking that meeting, at the same time that you're booking the actual introduction meeting.
So now, if they listen to the launch call and they're not interested, they can cancel that call if they don't, if they want to. But the whole point is that you have those two meetings set up before the launch call even occurs.
Mhm.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Linda, can you give us an example of how to invite
Okay.
to this
Well, your
call?
invite's no different. You know, if you're working on your invite, and I highly recommend that you do, that you're always working on your invite, because it has to be organic to you. It has to feel right to you. But what Jim and I are instructing people to do is we're kind of tying in with the Project 500. That is a 90-day window of setting a goal and moving forward. So our invite, I mean, anybody that's on this call that's heard my invite, they're like, okay, I know that invite. But you know, in the next 90 days, we're working on a project. You know, I don't know if we have anything for you or not. I only have a couple minutes before I have to head out the door, but I wanted to give you a call because I'm looking for 2 to 3 key individuals to help me work on this project. Your name came to mind. I know that this is just a shot in the dark, you know, all those kind of things that I use personally. But are you keeping your option open to making income outside of what you're presently doing? I mean, that's kind of a round view of what I do, but I mean, those bullet points, when I do an invite, every one of those bullet points are there. Jim's is a little bit different than mine, but mine is towards the opportunity. So when you come to my launch call, it's directed towards the opportunity. Now, so everyone's going to have their own flavor, you know, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. You know, some people have a lot of nuts on them. Somebody doesn't like whipped cream. You decide what you want on your launch call, but mine is designed for the opportunity. So as I'm morphing it and developing it, that's what it is. You know, I find that that's where I'm going with how I'm helping my team and to develop that. So
Linda, you do these for yourself when you invite people, and you do your own launch call, or do you have someone call in for you?
well, right now I'm doing my own, you know, because this is really kind of a petri dish to kind of figure things out, you know.
So let's go to your team then. Let's ask the question. Do you have people that you're instructing on your team, your downline, to call you to have you do the launch call?
Yeah. Right now, Jim and I are doing the launch calls, but the whole role here is for us to all up our game and becoming our own entry point for everyone in their business. You can do a launch call for your own personals. You don't call it a launch call. It's like, hey girl, you know, jump on the call with me. I'm you know, working on this project. I'm looking for 2 or 3 people to work with. Want to run something by you real quick. You got 10 minutes? You know, and it's a format to where, you know, they know that you're telling them up front what you're going to be talking about and why you're going to be talking about it. You go through what you're talking about, what you've told them you're going to talk about, and then you wrap it up and say what you said and what the next step is.
Gotcha.
I think it's real important, if I can jump in here, Linda. You know, I heard you doing your invite, and I think one of the important things in an invite is that it's brief, you know, and that you don't get trapped into being too talky. You know, well, why don't you tell me what it is? Well, what is it? You know, and Linda used what we call a BIC, a break in communication. Before she even told her what she was going to be doing, she says, look, I only have a few minutes. I have, you know, supper I'm putting on the table, or I'm headed out to the door, or I have another call I have to be on, whatever it is. You got another event that is pressing that you have to be there. I only have a few minutes, but I wanted to give you a call. That gives you permission to make this brief and short. So you announce that at the beginning, but you know, look, I only have a few minutes. I have another call I have to get on, but you've been on my mind, and let me tell you why I'm calling. Bam, she's there. You make the appointment. Then if they ask something at the end, well, can you tell me a little bit more about it? I wish I could get into more detail, but like I said, you know, you look at your watch, look at your arm. Even if you don't have a watch, look at your arm. They know what that means, you know, and say, like I said, I have someplace I have to be. I have another call to get on, but can you make it at that time? You know, and so that is that break in communication. It's the announcement first so that you can get out of it as quickly as possible and keep it as brief and to the point as possible.
And regarding the invite, if someone is, if someone asks me questions, then I can say, hey, it sounds to me like you're interested. Like I said, we want to set up 10 minutes that we can go over this. I have, 6 o'clock on tonight or 8:30 tonight. Which one works best for you? And, don't drag this thing out. A launch call can be done pronto. You're just checking their interest.
So Linda, again, back to the question, you can handle this because you've been doing this a long time, you and Jim. But for a brand new person, and we have a number of them who have not finding great success in getting in front of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how can you help your team with this launch call other than telling them how to do it? Do you actually get involved with Lyndon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just for example, do you get involved with him? Or does he invite you to help him with the launch call, at least initially, or is he just on his own?
No. Anyone that wants success in this business, in a networking business, needs to go upline to have that credibility and that validation. So you want to work with your upline team leader. Everybody's skill set is a little bit different. So some people have, a complete, I get it, let me do it, get out of my way. And some people need a little bit more encouragement and help along the way. But everybody needs to join with their upline to get the job done, whatever that need level is.
Well,
But I'll use the example of Lyndon. Lyndon did the invite for Jerome to show up to the call. Linda didn't do that invite. Lyndon did it. And Lyndon's at church right now, so he can't be on the call right now. He sent me a text and let me know that he was in church. But he would tell us, how he did that. But Lyndon has been working on his invite. And the more skilled you become with your invitation, with your contacts, the more people you'll get in front of the plan, the presentation or the launch call, however you want to, whatever term you want to use for that. Did that answer your question?
It did. It helped. It's moving in the direction of the new people or people who are still yet to have success in getting people in front of presentations. Okay. This is the breakdown. So let's play. Can we do a role play really quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a new ambassador working on your team. I'm excited about the products. I've shared with my neighbor, Lisa, okay, the product, and she's got a really, bad ankle and she walks all the time and she wants to keep walking. She likes the product. And so I call you, Linda, and say, Linda, my neighbor, Lisa, loves the products. I've told her that I really want Linda Ferguson to meet her. Okay. And so I'm going to set this up. We've got that set up in advance. Is that correct?
If I'm understanding correctly, she's already told her about the launch call. Is that right?
No. She's just tried the product. All she's done is tried the product. Okay.
Okay.
And I want her
to hear more.
Meet you and hear more, but I fumble all over myself. I talk too much. I run off at the mouth.
I get you.
Okay. I need some help, Linda. What do I do with this Lisa lady?
Well, and everyone runs into that. I mean, I did that. I mean, I used to vomit all over everybody. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can do here is just tighten up the ship. And that's what the whole purpose is. So for that individual, it's just hitting the bullet points. Hey, I know that you've gotten result from the product. Hey, I know that I've told you that you can learn a little bit more. Hey, you've showed some interest. You hit those bullet points, those affirming bullet points. I've got an opportunity for you just to plug into a phone call tonight at 6 o'clock to listen to more. Do you have some interest?
So that's the transition statement. Getting them from that point onto that call is a transition point that many people are not able to do.
Well, and one of the other things, let me throw this in, and you pointed this out when Jason was talking a while ago that Linda helped him with. It's stating the obvious. Like if you're talking about network marketing, and Jason mentioned this a while ago, I know that you were in network marketing before, you had a bad taste in your mouth, whatever, state the obvious. Well, Hal, in your case, if I were you, I'd say, well, I'd state by stating the obvious, say, well, I'm rotten at explaining this. I wish I could tell you more. I suck. I stink.
Right. That's what I
was going to be on the call. And so just please listen to her. Don't listen to me. You know,
Right. And so,
Great point.
and so here's another thing that people run into on this, and it's been brought up. You're on the phone or you're talking to someone, say, well, I've got 10 minutes now. Now, I know you've already addressed this, Linda, okay? But people sometimes don't hear that. They don't care. They want you to go ahead and spill the beans now. They want to be in control. So they say, well, I got 10 minutes now. Why don't you just tell me everything about it?
I wish I
that's why
could.
you set the stage in the beginning and say, like I said, I only have a few minutes. You may have 10 minutes, but I wish I did, but I don't.
Awesome.
Right.
That's-
Archie Bunker's coming on TV or something, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, guys, I think there needs to be a point here, regardless of who feels confident, who doesn't feel confident, who feels like they fumble, who doesn't feel like they fumble. What we're learning to do is lead. By our actions, we're imprinting people as to what the next steps are. And if we give so much information, they're going to give so much information. If we explain to them there's a place for them to get the information, they're going to be excited about sharing that place for other people to get the information. So it really doesn't matter if we're talking about a full-blown presentation or if we're talking about a launch call. What we're doing is, and I think it's great, Hal, about talking about the invite, that transition. How do you talk to people? That's ultimately where we all have to strengthen our abilities, and just making the invite, because everything else will unfold from that.
Absolutely. Well, you guys are do such a great job, and I'm going to come back to you, Linda and Jim. But I wanted to go to Angela Hawkins, and because Angela was brave enough to actually do not exactly the same style of launch call. We actually did a launch Zoom.
So what was it, a launch Zoom?
It was a launch Zoom.
Okay, launch Zoom. Okay.
So it was a launch Zoom, and we just basically showed the plan on Zoom. We did it together. Angela's been in the business for a bit. She's actually been on product for about 2 years. So this was not, the first thing that we've done. But Angela, I wanted to bring you on and just have you share just what you've learned through that process by being brave enough to do this.
Thank you, Lisa. I learned so many different things. It's hard to tell you one specific thing because I can relate with what Linda said in regards to Eva and regards to Danielle's statement in that call. One thing I learned from that call, and many other things, but that one call, that just lets you know that being on a telephone call like this, it's going to help you. It just does. The repetition of what you hear, anything, but you're learning stuff even when you don't realize you are. And that particular telephone call was the kick in my butt that I needed. And it was like, oh, I can do a launch call, because I had not done that before. And so, and that's, a light bulb came on in me that allowed me permission to not be paralyzed anymore and to pick up the phone and make phone calls, because I can invite them to a launch call. And it just made the world of difference to me to have that as a reason to pivot off of when I made my telephone calls. I don't know why, it just did. So that was one of the things that I've learned. And then I went, and also it was the fact that I decided, I made a decision to do this no matter what. And because I believe in the product, that's not an issue. I truly honor the company and its ethics and its character. That's not an issue. The issue was what Jason said about network marketing, that what people's perception was. That was my issue. And I was trying to talk myself into something that I already believed in, and I didn't want to deal with it with somebody else, I guess is what it was. But that, again, that was one of the things. It was like I made a decision that, I've heard Stephen say it probably over 100 times. Give it 2 to 5 years. Get it 2 to 5 years, and you hear it all the time. But it was like, okay, that registered. I'm doing it no matter what. No matter if I get 1,000 no's and 1 yes, I'm going to do it. Steady. What is it? Steady as the turtle in the race. I'm going to do it. So just moving and doing something, it all hit all at the same time. And then as I started the process, I made a lot of phone calls. I did a lot of messengers. I hit people that, I went telling them I was launching my business. Come. I can't,
tell you that all of that work paid off or not. I don't have a clue yet, because that's another thing I've learned, or accepted, I should say, is that I'm planting seeds and I'm watering seeds. That's all I'm doing. When it starts growing in someone else, that's up to that other person on how fast they're going to grow in accepting CBD oil, accepting Zalise as a company, accepting me as their rep, whatever. But that's not anything that I have control over. All I can do is try to share something that's going to change someone else's life into a better place. That's all I'm doing. I'm sharing a product that can change their life and bring them health, and I'm sharing an opportunity that could bring them more wealth, and that's what I can do. So that resonated with me. And then let me think of what else. Another thing that I learned while talking with Lisa is that who I'm talking to, and at the time I'm talking to them, whomever it is, who they are makes a difference on what I say. And so we were talking about, knowing who you're talking to and being able to relate to that person. And it hit me while I was talking to her. I knew all this. I know you're supposed to know your audience and all that kind of stuff when you're talking, but to know what their need is and to understand what it is they want from me is going to make a huge difference in how I can help that person with Zalise product or with the business aspect of it. So if I know that, and I can feel what they need to where I can actually address that need while I'm talking to them, then I'm going to be able to help them. And that's ultimately what I want to do. Is I want to give somebody else a gift of health, or give somebody else a gift of wealth, or both. And at the end of the day, that was my takeaway. And it was, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for all of this. So
thank you so much for sharing. You did a great job. Fantastic. And I'm going to switch back to Linda and Jim. And Linda and Jim, there might be somebody that you want to share what their takeaways were from the call that you guys did.
Well, Angela, first I want to say, great point. Knowing exactly who you're talking to is really important. Meeting that need level is so vital as we, talk to people. And I think that's one reason I want to make the point that the launch call is just a tool. Okay, it's just a tool, guys. It's your toolbox. You've got all kinds of things in it, and you're just going to pull out this tool when it works. I think we can do them often because you can move pretty quickly if you have a few scheduled, but it doesn't take the place of the presentation. It doesn't take the place of sitting down with someone one-on-one. It doesn't take the place of that. It's a way to move people from point A to point B, which you're finding the need to that individual. And a lot of times we just want to get people in front of enough information to see if we can meet their need, whether it's a need for health or a need for wealth. And so that was a great point I wanted to hit on. Nina asked if we could do a mock call. I would tell you, I have scheduled tonight to do an 8:30 call. Be happy to give everybody the phone call number, and you just log on that 8:30 call. I made it for after Eva's call. Eva, I hope we'll be done by that time, but I made it for 8:30, and it's just a launch call. It'll take about 15
minutes. Do you mind posting that, Linda, on Team Unlimited?
You can actually do it in this chat right here.
Or on this chat.
So while you're doing that, we have a question we want to try to address. So I'm going to read the question. The question is, we need to pre-schedule when we are available and when our upline leadership is available for this. So Linda, you've scheduled that, right? You've scheduled it, and your people are aware, or a person is aware, that they can invite people to that number. So the answer is yes to Christine's question. You need to arrange this with your person that's going to do the call for you. That's the first thing. But number two, and Linda pointed this out, you can do your own launch call. Okay, you set it up. Okay, I want to address this with Christine. Yes, you arrange it with your upline, but this is not designed for you to be dependent forever upon your upline. This is for everyone to do for yourself. But while you're still young in the business, okay, you can use your upline, learn from them. But this is not exclusively the upline deal. Okay, is that correct?
And if I can throw this out, create a script. And right, Linda?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at
No,
Jen.
you quit.
She typed in
Cutting up in
She
there.
typed in a
No,
bunch of wrong numbers.
So here's the thing. It's a 10-minute phone call. And the thing that I like about it being a phone call, as opposed, we were one of the first adopters of Zoom and conference call and doing plans around the country in that way, using that long before COVID. And so we're a big fan of that, still are. But however, a launch call, having it be just a phone call, it's a phone number. You call in, there's no pins, there's no access codes, there's no video, there's no nothing. They can be stuck in traffic on the way home and listen to the launch call. That's the simplicity of it. And those that are doing the launch call, write you a script. That's what Linda's done. She's written a script and she reads it off. You know, you don't have to be inventive.
That's exactly right, guys.
You got to be inventive one time to write it down.
I've done it 10 times now, and I've read it every single time. And I'm morphing it and changing it. Really, it's a great way for you to learn to script yourself.
Hey, Linda,
Mhm.
do you guys use free conference call? Is that primarily
Yeah,
what you
a free conference call, and it's called one call. It's just one number, and you don't have to have an access code or anything like that. It works really well, guys.
In fact, Gerald, we talked to you that we met with Gerald this afternoon. Gerald was on the launch call this afternoon, right before the elevation call, as he was driving back to his Airbnb.
Hey, one more question for you guys, and then I've got another question just to kind of summarize it all. But Debbie was asking, what is the difference between a three-way call and a launch call? If you guys don't mind answering that.
There's a big difference. Okay, there's a big difference. A three-way call is the way I use a three-way call. You could do a three-way launch call. Granted, you could do a three-way launch call, but the launch call purposely is to put the bullet points of the business and the opportunity in front of people. That's what you're doing. You're putting the bullet points together. You know, I recommend that you attend our launch call if you want to hear the bullet points. It takes 10 to 12 minutes, literally, for me to do this from front to start. You know, you will morph it and change it into what you want it to be. If you don't like mine, that's okay. But it allows you to just get those bullet points in front of people.
But so preferably, you can do a launch call on a one-on-one basis, but preferably you want to pack the launch call with 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 people.
Okay.
You know, that you're getting as many people in front of the information as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have your follow-ups set up before. So don't put more people on that call than what you have scheduled for follow-ups, right?
Right.
Yeah, but Hal, I think you would agree with me. If we would all book our follow-up at the time that we book a presentation, at the time we book a Zoom, at the time we book a launch call, that we will be able to streamline our business much better.
We would all be much more successful. That's right. And you don't have to say, oh, I'm going to put you on my calendar for the follow-up. We ask the people, when you join this, I want to follow up and see what you think. You know, would we be able to jump on immediately or the next morning, which is best for you? That's how you set up a follow-up, okay? And then you've got your calendar there and you're writing the people's names who commit to immediately after, and then also the next day. Now, same principle. When you do your follow-up, you don't vomit all over them everything that Linda didn't tell them, all right? You're just asking them a few questions, and then you're looking for the opportunity to get the full-blown presentation in front of them.
Yeah, so we did miss a few points as we've kind of done this. I really would like somebody listening to the call, because
we're going to listen.
You will understand that I set up the call explaining what the call is and what it's not. It's not a time for question and answers. Okay, so everybody's muting their phone. And then I tell them that it's just the bullet points. And then I go over the bullet points. And then I tell them that if they're serious that they like the information and they're serious about wanting more information, there's no one better to give them that information than our CEO, Stephen Thompson. And so what we would like to do, if you haven't already set an appointment with the person that invited you, what we want to make sure is that you get an appointment set so that once you listen to this video, that we can get back with you and answer your questions. So we are actually, by the time I get to somebody and we're having a three-way call with that person, they've seen the full-blown picture.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's the reason why Jerome is on this call tonight. And then Jerome came to the plan that we did. So, so just if you show up, you can do it a different way. That's the way that we've done it. So maybe we can build on this again, Lisa, with
Yeah.
you guys. You know, this is you create the model. We're just kind of working out there and
No, you guys are out there, you're out there modeling it, you're doing it. And, you know, just to make sure that Debbie understands, a three-way phone call, you guys, is really one of the cornerstones of validation in our business. And validation just means that, you know, you're not doing this alone. And somebody who's very successful, that has already established, you know, that you establish them as credible and successful, it changes the nature of the conversation with a prospect. And so the best people in our business find ways of saying, you know, that's a great question. Let me see if Linda's available. She's a very smart chiropractor. She's super successful and busy. She only has a few minutes. Let me grab her and get her on the line. And they facilitate this three-way conversation all day long with a prospect.
But now what also happens in a three-way call is really important, is that person, like Linda talking to that person, Linda's going to ask that person all about them. Linda's going to find out all about that person. This isn't the bullet points of the business. Mm-hmm. This is Linda saying, tell me, Jerry, tell me, what do you do? Tell me about your family. What are your, you know, and it's about that validation as well. It's much more personal, but it validates the whole program. That's the difference between a three-way call. This message tonight is about the launch, but we are distinguishing it from the three-way call. So the final thing I think we want to say here, guys, to wrap up, okay, one, listen to Eva tonight
at 8
and invite people. Again, it's her presentation. That's optional for you if you're already in the business, but listen to Jim and Linda's launch
at 8:30.
But the other thing, it's a principle, and I really need to drive this home. Okay. Guys, we need to be a lot better at listening. Okay, so we listen and we learn and then we lead. So across the board, many times in communications with the people we're introducing to our upline, or we're introducing, or even when some of us call and want mentorship from us or from your upline, realize that your upline knows a lot more about this business than you do. Okay, how do I say that? I'm going to try to say it nicely. And so your role is to really listen, ask questions, but then listen. And so we just, it's a principle of what we have to learn, is do more listening than leading, especially when we really don't know what we're saying yet. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, it's just a principle that we have to practice, is that we listen, and learn. And then with that, we will become leaders. And then we'll be sharing this listen, learn, and lead message to our teams over and over. So.
Okay, so I want to just say that I just posted on Team Unlimited, the phone number, and then it's also in the chat. It is the second number, the
720-820-1688.
Let's say it again, 720-820-1688 for those of you who do not know how to find the chat, and that's okay. Okay, 720-820-1688. Linda, do they need to mute themselves when they come on?
Yes. It will ask you to announce yourself, and I always say, tell us where you're calling in from, that kind of thing. And then I'll ask you to mute your phone if you don't already do that. And just realize, guys, that this is just an opportunity to get people in front of the plan. I want to also just make a point that the reason why we decided to do this, when working with the people that we're working with right now, a lot of them haven't even touched their list of names. So we're working to get them to move people quickly to a way to get people in front of the phone, in front of the opportunity, the quickest way, and in numbers. That's one reason why we've chosen this method. So if you've got a big list of names and you haven't tapped into it, this might be your way to move quickly.
Right. Thank you. Thank you guys, everyone that shared tonight. Angela, Jim and Linda, Jason, Debbie, who else?
And yeah, Debbie and Jason.
Debbie and Jason.
You know, one of the things I just wanted to close with, one of the things that just blesses us, Linda and Jim, is, you know, not only are you guys amazing docs, but you add value to our team. And, you know, you teach us things all the time. And just because you guys are out there working it, and right now you're out there on the road, you're in Florida, I hope next week that you'll talk a little bit about, this can be a two-part thing. You're going to talk about, once you have a team, how do you support your team? Because there's nobody better than you and Jim and Stephen, you know, Steve and Jenny, that supports a team out there. Honestly, we just are, you guys might, if you're brand new, you might not realize that you are absolutely getting gold information right now that's just not written. And so I thank you guys for adding value to all of us.
Thank you
You're
so
a
much.
blessing. You're a blessing to us, allowing us to share. Thank you so much.
And thanks to Steve and Jenny for setting y'all up really nice tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. With all the jets and the frogs included. So you guys, thank you for being on our call tonight. These calls are recorded, and my son actually uploads them to YouTube. So if you want to go to Team Unlimited, you can find Team Unlimited. I always look for Nurses Call and then they all come up. But Team Unlimited live is our YouTube channel. There's also a rap group called Team Unlimited. So if you start hearing some really hardcore music, it's not us.
Now, this call it's a few days before this call gets loaded, but previous calls are there. So
yeah, absolutely. So you guys, we'll see y'all on Eva's call in a minute. On if you don't know what we're talking about, just text her upline and they'll get you the information for that. And then we'll see y'all on lunch call at 8:30. Thanks so much, everybody.